For over 2 millennia, sailors swore a monster lived in the deep, a creature with arms strong enough to drag an entire ship beneath the waves. Scientists dismissed it as superstition. They were wrong about the monster. They just had the story backwards. Long before anyone called it the Kraken, ancient writers were already describing something enormous lurking in the ocean. Aristotle wrote about a giant sea creature over 2,000 years ago. The Roman writer Pliny the Elder described one too. For centuries, these were treated as tall tales until the evidence started washing ashore, and scientists could no longer look away. The legend itself runs deep. Norwegian and Scandinavian sailors told tales of the Kraken for generations, a giant tentacled sea monster said to be capable of dragging entire ships to the depths. One of the earliest written accounts comes from 1280, recorded by King Sverre of Norway himself. Some tellings described the creature as up to 1.5 miles across. And here's what's remarkable. This wasn't just sailors' superstition sitting outside of real science. Carl Linnaeus, the father of modern biological classification, actually included the Kraken among the cephalopod mollusks in the very first edition of his groundbreaking work, Systema Naturae, in 1735. Serious science hadn't yet separated the myth from the reality. Then, in 1853, everything changed. A giant cephalopod washed ashore on a Danish beach. A Norwegian naturalist named Japetus Steenstrup recovered the animal's beak and used it to scientifically describe the creature for the first time. The Kraken of legend was finally given a real, scientific identity. That identity became official in 1857, with the formal name Architeuthis ducks, meaning, fittingly, ruling squid. But here's the strange part. Naming it didn't mean anyone actually had solid proof. In November 1861, a French warship called the Electon encountered a dying giant squid floating near the Canary Islands. The crew tried to capture it. All they came away with was a single torn-off piece of its tail. More remains washed ashore in Newfoundland in 1871 and 1872, one of them reportedly 52 feet long. The species had a name. It barely had a body. This is where the story gets even stranger. Even after science formally confirmed the giant squid was real, nobody actually filmed one alive in its natural habitat for almost 150 years. The first video footage at all came in 2006, when researchers filmed a giant squid after it had already been hooked and hauled to the surface, not in its natural world, but at the boat's side. The real breakthrough came in 2012. A Japanese research team, working with NHK and the Discovery Channel, spent 400 hours in a submersible across 100 separate missions, searching the depths of the northern Pacific. Finally, at 630 meters down, they filmed a giant squid swimming freely in the dark, in its own world, for the very first time in recorded history. So what do we actually know about this animal now that the myth has settled into biology? Giant squid can grow up to somewhere between 13 and 18 meters long, including their long feeding tentacles. Their eyes are the largest of any animal on Earth, an adaptation built specifically to gather what little light exists at the depths they call home, sometimes as deep as 2,000 meters. This is no longer folklore. It's a real, understood predator, patrolling one of the most hostile environments on the planet. And here's the twist almost nobody expects. The giant squid was never actually rare. Scientists estimate there could be millions of them in our oceans. The numbers needed just to feed the world's sperm whale populations demand it. The mystery was never that they were scarce. It was that nothing on the surface world had ever been built to see into a place this dark, this deep, this far from anything we understand. The monster was real the whole time. We just weren't looking in the right place.